fell apart with that, and I was sort of left clutching at straws for a little while, and nearly the whole thing fell apart on me.
Tim Brown is the founder and CEO of WhipSmart. You founded the business officially 2 years ago.
We launched at the Everything Electric Show in 2024, in February, and we sort of had a bit of a soft launch, and then we've kicked on from there, and we've really gone hard, hell for leather as of November 2024. Lots of learnings, but yeah, we're kicking some goals.
Yeah. Have you had any other businesses before?
I've had a couple of failed businesses. My first foray into business was a Cuban rum. I was going to be a rum-baron, pirating the high seas. When it came to rolling out WhipSmart, I took a few chances, but I also put it through an incubator. So I had some advice from a company called Hyper, and that really accelerated the program, but it did cost a fair bit in terms of capital. But then when it really push came to shove to launch the business, I decided it was best to try to partner with an existing player. Everything was fired up for that partnership to kick off and for WhipSmart to be a sub-brand. But as it turned out, things fell apart with that, and I was sort of left clutching at straws for a little while, and nearly the whole thing fell apart on me. But as luck would have it, now I fired it up on my own. I'm majority shareholder. I've got full control and a business that's really going very well, and I'm very happy with where we've landed in the end.
Okay, so it sounds like it's been a roller coaster ride already, and an exciting one. Is there anything that you wish you'd done earlier, even though it is relatively early in the overall trajectory of the business?
I think if I'd been a little bit wiser with my money, and also, in essence, in some ways, I chickened out of doing it myself and went for the partner opportunity. That delayed things by 6 months as we were planning to get that organised. Had I just, gotten my act together and gone in, guns blazing to do it myself, I probably would have had the capital to fire up, and I would have been a year ahead.
What's something about running a business that nobody tells you?
HR is probably the most undervalued issue that really takes time away from your day. And that's not necessarily just recruitment, it's not necessarily just training. It's office politics, it's making sure that you've hired people that get along, it's noticing if you've got a problem employee that you can deal with them quickly. It's also the hiring order, knowing when you should be bringing staff on and in which order. Do you bring in the admin staff on to lighten the load, or do you bring the salesperson on to increase revenue? Those sort of things, but particularly when you're a smaller business, handling people leaving. And everyone in a small business is some sort of linchpin. And I don't think people give enough credit to the impact that a single person joining can have in a positive way or a negative way, or the negative or positive of someone departing.
What's one skill that's more important than people think?
Just bloody general IT skills. Just someone who knows that if their computer freezes, they can turn it off and on again, and it'll probably work.
What's a business trend that you think is overrated?
Automation and AI, a little bit. Now, not because it can't be fantastic, it's just a lot harder than people realise. If you're trying to do automation in a physical sense, trying to automate a production line or something like that, it's extremely complicated, and 9 times out of 10, much more expensive, and probably 50% of the time fails. And I think the same goes for really complicated software implementation. If you think you're going to roll out an ERP system or a really sophisticated CRM, first time around and nail it, you're dreaming. It's not that it's overrated, it's just the simplicity of it is still
overstated.
Is overstated now.
So you've got 2 kids.
Yep.
A very fresh one.
Yep.
You've got a business that you're growing, and you're quite busy. What's your one non-negotiable in your daily routine?
Sleep, 100% sleep. The difference that that can make, and sometimes you're not in control of your own sleep. You don't always have the ability to say whether you're going to get a good night. Things are going on in life or whatever, but you do need to pay attention to if your sleep's starting to be impacted, and either lighten the load or work out what's keeping you awake at night, if you've got something that's, you know, giving you sleepless nights, you need to sort that out because it's going to impact your day if you let it go too long.
Yeah. Is there something that you thought would matter but actually doesn't?
Yeah, in our relationship with Lance Montana as a web developer, I thought that some of the components of the website for WhipSmart, you know, having really sophisticated quoting functionality and that sort of thing was a deal breaker. If we didn't have it, we couldn't operate. Turned out we were still getting leads coming in and we had a mechanism to manually do things while we were waiting for some development to finish. And yeah, I really thought we were stuffed if we didn't have software to back us up. Turned out, you know, the inquiries were coming in based on our reputation, based on the look and feel of the website. Having everything absolutely polished on the website was not required for us to be successful. Obviously now as we're scaling up, it becomes more important to speed up things. But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing.
What's the best investment you've ever made in your business?
Best investment, and you'd love this, would be the website.
I was kind of hoping to say that.
Yeah, so I guess it was that was a non-negotiable. We had to have a decent website, and we spent, you know, even time before we engaged Lance Montana. We spent time on the design, the development, the user experience, and that was part of our incubator program. And yeah, that has been for us, as working in an industry that's enormously competitive, huge number of players in the market. Having a site that people can trust was very important, and having a functional site that even if they came to a roadblock somewhere on the line for exactly what they were looking for, they could easily still reach out and then we could deal with them offline. So yeah, that was probably to date, our biggest investment, but also, you know, our most important.
If you had to start over tomorrow, what's the first thing you'd do?
It would definitely be to fire up a new website quickly and do some, you know, SEO work to get the leads coming in. But then it would be to know that with a bare bones website that I'd still be able to quote. So I'd re-engage, get signed up with the finance partners that we have. As quickly as possible, because that's those relationships. They're, you know, in the end, it's who's got the money, and if you don't have the money to satisfy this, then you've got no business.
Is there one movie or one book that has had a massive inspiration or influence on your business journey at all?
The book that I always come back to is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's definitely not. I think going to be repeated in this interview series. That's not the business book I've ever heard of referenced before. It's a great book though by Hunter S. Thompson, The Gonzo Journalism Approach.
Yeah. See, I was originally a journalist, right? And Hunter just became a bit of a hero. Not so much from the movie, but that book. You know, it was just the sort of thing that you're talking about, a guy that was just living his best life. You know, talking about a guy who, you know, ran to be mayor of Aspen and was going to change the name of it to Fat City. And it was just all about someone who had a lot of initiative and a lot of drive, a lot of passion just to do whatever the hell he wanted, but a lot of imagination.
Yeah.
You know, the guy just had oodles of it. Creativity, exactly. Yeah. And that creativity is really what spawns good business ideas.
If you weren't doing this, and you could do anything, what would it be?
I'd be going for something into space, mate. That'd be the goal.
Yeah, interstellar travel.
Yeah.
Love it. What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Concentrate, work harder, don't spend so much time doing utter shit when you've got a few, you know, spare days. You know, it takes a while to build a career, it takes a while to get experience, but you can do things a lot earlier than you think you can. When you're 20, you think no one's going to take me seriously. There's zero reason why you can't be successful and moving, you know, to an entrepreneurial gig, doing something really impressive in your mid-20s. It's zero reason, but lots of people don't have the confidence to do it. Yep. If I was to tell my 20-year-old self something, it would be see what you can achieve now, not when you're 30 and not when you're 40.
I wish you'd talk to me when I was 18.
Yeah.
Is there a local brand or business in the southeast Queensland region that you think is smashing it?
I believe they're called Green Street, sort of like a fast food, Subway-esque.
Like fast casual?
Yeah. You go in, you line up, you order your thing off the menu, but you walk along. Behind them is a wall of salad, and they make these absolutely incredible lunches that you take away, and you know, they're not only delicious, super nutritious, And I just can't believe that there's not more of them than there are McDonald's, to be honest. It's so good, and I think it's probably going to be a big thing. So keep your eye on Green Street.
Okay.